Urban design draws together the many strands of placemaking: environmental responsibility, social equity, and economic viability. Urban design should be taken to mean the relationship between different buildings, the relationship between buildings and streets, squares, parks, and waterways, and other spaces which make up the public domain. And the patterns of movement and activity which are thereby established. In short, the complex relationships between the elements of built and unbuilt space. Urban design is about creating a vision for an area and the deploying of the skills and the resources to realize that vision.
Total urban design occurs when an entire project is carried out under one auspice and under the direction of an individual designer or a group acting as an individual. It is completed as one piece of work from property development to design to implementation. The concern is from the broadcast policy issues to the architecture to the landscaping and to the details of street furniture. Total urban design includes a wide variety of product types, such as new towns, urban precincts of various descriptions, new suburbs, housing developments, campuses, and historical revitalizations. Some projects are mixed types. It is extremely difficult, for one hand, to design for variety. Urban design schemes carried out all of a piece, following new urbanist ideas, have thus become the accepted paradigm of many architects at the beginning of the 21st century in the United States. And there is considerable sympathy for the ideology elsewhere. Many modernist design ideas are, however, still alive, well, and frequently used in practice.
During the second half of the 20th century, the idea of a new town is widely understood, although how inclusive and independent a new town should be is up for debate. It is generally believed that the new town should exist as semi-independent units. However, actually they are seldom as self-contained. Custom-built capital cities are shaped by the motivation to make them symbols of their country or state. When new capital cities be designed in the future, the relocation of national and state capitals is still talked about in various countries with city-names. A company town is a planned settlement for workers of a single industrial organization. Many were built in Western Europe and the Americas during the 19th century. Whether all company towns are designed by famous architects or not have much in common, in particular it is that design control is centralized.
Housing design is associated with lots of issues. Who is the developer, government or private company? Sometimes they were successful in terms of their acceptance by their residents, but at other times they have been notorious failures are largely the same. Some critics may distinguish between campus design and urban design. The issues addressed are largely the same. Universities continues to be built around the world. More attention seems to be given to the architecture of their individual buildings. This lack of concern for campus design is unfortunate. Many less ambitious street design have been built as total urban designs. They have generally been landscape architectural projects that have not dealt with enclosing elements that make a street a street. The three-dimensional qualities of the street is very important. Some are designed both as a play space for children and a place for parking cars recently, like Redmond.
A wide variety of urban design have been designed by one hand. The developments around the world that were the responsibility of one authority and designed by one architect or one team of architects under a single leader. The new development may be publicly or privately financed, or some mixture of the two. Often governments use their power of eminent domain to acquire land for redevelopment. Private companies without that power have also succeeded in collecting individual sites into a large parcel. Abandoned buildings have been converted into other uses. It was totally converted into a new use under the direction of a single team of a developer and an architectural firm.
New Brasilia capital began in 1946. The architects Lucio Costa and Oscar Niemeyer designed the whole city planning. The scheme featured two great axes. One axis, the monumental, would contain the capital complex. The other would house the residential and social sector. As a symbol for the country, Brasilia has been a great architectural success. The sculptural quality of government precinct has been much photographed. As a demonstration of modernist ideals, it has no peer. Brasilia has fostered regional development as intended and has become a major cultural center. It has become a city. Many people enjoy living there. Brasilia, however, lacks the liveliness of Rio de Janeiro or Sao Paulo. There is little street life, no street corners as places to hang out. Its streets are not seen for life, but rather edges to superblock and designed for the free flow of traffic. Yet the car ownership level is not what was predicted. The life of the city has become internalized. The city design represents the complete break from tradition, behaviorally and physically, that the modernists saw. True, this lot is located in the town of Berker, north of Copenhagen. In 1968, 20 families came together to form a cooperative society in which a number of household activities and responsibilities of daily life would be shared. The family's immediate target was to get permission to build a co-housing development on land that was zoned for detached houses. The process of moving from an agreed-on agenda to completed project was time-consuming and decisions were made democratically, with all members of the co-housing group participating. This housing project had 33 homes that formed an L-shaped neighborhood. The families share the responsibility of the community and to help to cook a dinner that is over every night. much of life is shared. There are other types of co-housing developments, but the philosophy and development process behind them all is similar. A clearly articulated behavioral brief based on a set of mutually agreed on expectations dictates much about the design.
Due to the baby boomers, the demand for tertiary education increased during the 1960s. The State University of New York expanded rapidly in various locations in New York State, including Albany, its capital. Instead of staying in the downtown area, with lots of variety and temptations, it was located on the outskirts of the city. Wallace Harrison was the original master planner. Then, Edward Dewar Stone, the next architect of the State University of New York, proposed that all the academic buildings are clustered and united by a huge podium and continuous roof, a sort of megastructure for reducing the cost of the connection. The dormitories were clustered in 4 groups, and each of them was located around a quadrangle formed by a 3-storied podium. Within each quadrangle, a 23-story tower sat there. The campus is a symmetrical complex decorated with colonnades, domes, and fountains. However, the first-time visitors were much confused by the university layout since no landmarks give a sense of direction.
Single architects or government strongly dominate urban planning and design that's created a harmonious balance to reflect on the spatial relationships. It had directly influence on the urban development. For example, iconic institutions are in the inner city, while the residential area is in the outskirts of the city. Due to the planning was led by the government and architects directly, it is easy to have a big difference with local values, misunderstanding its humanistic tradition or habits, and pursuing form excessively, which lead the design and assimilate into a local culture. Lots of concrete buildings set up in the old city that cause a huge impact on inhabitants' lives.